Thank you. Here's a question for you. What's going on in Virginia? Their fiscal year just ended with a nearly $545 million surplus. Tax revenues have been increasing for 13 consecutive months, and state unemployment, well, it's at 6.3%, far better than the 9.1% national average. How is Virginia growing in this tough economy? Well, we're pleased to talk to the CEO himself, if you will, Governor Bob McDonnell. Thank you, Governor, for joining us this afternoon from Richmond.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. Glad to be on.
All right, so is it one philosophy? Is it a factor? Is it a strategy? What would you say is the key to the success, the fiscal success you're seeing here in Virginia?
I think it's a couple things. One, we try to be the very best magnet for business. We've been ranked by Polina and CNBC this year as the best place in America for business. And that means a good tax and regulatory and right-to-work climate, good education system, good litigation environment. And then secondly, we've invested a lot of money, about $100 million last year, at my request, in new incentives to attract business, tax credits, some opportunity fund money to attract businesses, help defray some of their expenses, trade offices in China, India, and the UK, and just being very aggressive with people and telling them the Virginia story. And as a result of that, that's why income, I think, has gone up these last 12 or 13 months, is the income tax revenues you see continuing to increase.
So let me hit you with this then right up front here. State revenues are up considerably, almost 8%, I believe the statistic is, just for the month of August. But boy, the national economic picture is not that good. Are you gearing up? Are you planning for challenges ahead?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's some reasonable chance from the economists' predictions that there's another dip in the economy. We're preparing for the worst, even though we've had surpluses. And so we're going to be going through a very conservative budgeting forecast coming out for our December presentation to the legislature. And, Laura, I'm worried about a couple things. One is unfunded liabilities in our state, things like Medicaid and our retirement system. We've got to get them fixed. They're too expensive and too much of a budget buster. And then the unfunded mandates from the federal government, environmental mandates, mental health, the Obamacare mandates are billions of dollars in unfunded federal mandates. So we are not at all out of the woods. We're very concerned about the future, but we just know this. We're going to not increase taxes. We're going to increase revenues through economic growth, and our pro-growth policies that head in the right direction.
Where will the most difficult spending cuts come?
We made a bunch already. I inherited a $4.2 billion budget deficit. My predecessor offered a $2 billion income tax increase. I said, we're not doing that. Let's cut spending. We're back to almost 2006 levels in Virginia, Lori. And listen, it was health care, it was K-12, in other core services. But I believe that our smart state employees would do a great job, do more with less. And they did, and, it's working.
So let's talk about unemployment right now, because even though unemployment rose slightly, you're still at 6.3%, still well below the 9.1% national average. As you know, you lost jobs in the public sector as well as out of the information industry. So what's your strategy for continuing to grow your job market?
I think what we've done is working. We know what we're good at in Virginia. It's things like technology, biotech, nanotech, information systems, defense contracting, wine, tourism, agriculture. So we're investing in those sectors where we can gain more business. We also, this session, are going to focus on small business, manufacturing, and the life sciences. It's things where we got a good start, but we can do a lot better. I mean, you can't be all things to all people. We know what we're good at in Virginia. We're going to continue to work on those things. And then you got to keep the fundamentals strong and be positive about business. Wall Street has been attacked by this White House. They've not been positive about business, and it's had an impact both on business and consumer confidence. They need certainty and predictability in order to grow, and we're going to give them that in Virginia.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there for time considerations, but we certainly thank you for your time and sharing your state story with us. Governor Bob McDonnell.
Glad to do it, Lori.
Of Virginia. Thanks.